is the JFJ Conspiracy Podcast, where the shop talk is rock.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Frank. And this is the JFJ Conspiracy.
We're missing Jerry.
Yes, we are. But you know what? It's still where the shop talkers rock. And Jerry couldn't be with us tonight, but he did send us a video, and we'll play that in just a second. And it's not going to be the same. It's our anniversary show, and it's just the two of us tonight, so we'll make do and see what we can do. Let's listen, get a call in from Jerry real quick, and so you can see what's up with him.
Hey folks out in Conspiracy Land, this is Jerry from the JFJ Conspiracy Podcast, where the shop talk is rock. Going to be unable to make episode 27 tonight, folks. Sorry about that. But we do have today for the classic pick is Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast. The band Cronkite, for my part, they filmed a great bio for us. Thank you, Cronkite, out of Frisco. And my classic pick for next week, folks, is Leonard Skinner's Street Survivors. Keep rocking, folks. Later.
All right, we'll make sure we get Jerry with us in the next episode so we can check out Street Survivors.
Ooh.
Yeah, a little southern rock there. Interesting pick. For sure.
Last real Leonard Skinner album?
Yeah, I think so. But you know what? Right now, before we jump into anything else, I want to know...
what's in Jim's fridge?
What's in Jim's brand new fridge?
Oh.
We were forced to go out and buy a new fridge this last week.
It's always something.
Always something. So this week in Jim's fridge is in honor of Number of the Beast.
Made in Japan.
All right,
I've got that.
So
EP.
Mini album.
Yeah.
Mini EP, 5 songs.
Now refresh my memory. That's still Paul Di'Anno, correct?
Paul Di'Anno.
Yes.
So this was actually recorded on the Killers tour.
All right.
Their first world tour. Side 1, Running Free. Side 2, Remember Tomorrow. Side 2, Wrathchild, Killers, and Innocent Exile. And a great set right there.
Yes.
And I've said before, and I think I said in the last episode, when it comes to the live, I much prefer Paul Di'Anno to Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah.
But I prefer Bruce on the records.
I'll tell you what. Great vocalists, both of them. Very, very raw. Paul Di'Anno's very raw, very punk kind of vocalist. And Bruce sang for the masses way out in the back row.
Stratosphere,
He's more of an entertainer type deal. But
yes. And I've only seen him live with Bruce, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think I preferred him the first time I saw him, Number of the Beast. Mm-hmm. Versus when I saw him later on. Yeah. But great show. They're always a great band live.
Yeah, they put on quite a show.
Amazing show.
Super big catalog too. So I wish this last go around when they came around doing this big tour, it wasn't over at the football stadium, because that's too big for me. I want to be a little bit up close and personal. So what are you gonna do?
Soccer stadium, really. So,
yes,
it's not like they were playing the Rose Bowl, right?
True.
It's massive.
Right. It's still down in LA where I didn't want to go. So for that type of situation.
Understandable.
Yeah. So all right. Well, that's a good deal. That's a cool record to have in your fridge.
Yep. Vinyl's so cool, got to keep it on ice.
That's right. I've got a mail call. Got a couple records since our last episode I want to share with you.
Nice.
Yep. First one is Bullet Boys, Elefante.
What?
Yeah.
Nice.
This is from 2015. And I don't know if you've heard it or not.
I have not heard it.
I downloaded this a while ago, and then when I saw it on vinyl, I had to pick it up. Solid songs. They're not the same old Bullet Boys from the 80s. It's mostly all Mark Torrin here, but the songs are incredible. Just lyrically, they're just really, really good songs. And I suggest check it out. That is Bullet Boys Elefante.
Very cool. Great.
Yep.
I like his voice.
Yes. So do I.
As a singer, I really like him. He was a lead guitarist in Rat back in the day.
He's actually playing all guitars now on the.
Is he on this record?
Yeah, I saw him at the Go-Go Whiskey Go-Go a few years ago, and he was playing all guitars and quite a good rhythm and solo guitarist, lead guitarist. My other pick is a throwback album, and there's a specific reason why I got it, but it's Ted Nugent's Free For All. Now, 2 reasons why I got this album. One,
that a re-release?
Yes, it is. This is why. It is translucent green vinyl.
Ooh.
Yes. And
slick.
It is slick. Yeah. 180 gram.
I like that. I like that orange label on there.
That's the classic
label.
Classic
label, right?
Yeah. Well, the reason I picked this particular album up, I was doing a little research and reading on Ted and some of his older albums, and I didn't realize Meatloaf sang on this one.
No way.
He sings on 4 or 5 of the songs because Derek St. Holmes quit, and so before Bat Outta Hell came out, I guess Tom Werman called up Meatloaf. They paid him $1,000 to basically sing on these songs. They gave him the lyrics, but no music, and told him, hey, work out these arrangements and come on into the studio.
Well, that's a great story.
Yeah, well, that's the lore as it is. So went back, checked it out, played it, and sure enough, that's Meatloaf on that album, and I never realized that. So I actually prefer Ted Nugent's first album over this one, but because it had Meatloaf, I wanted to check it out. I think they've got his first album out in red vinyl or something like that. I'll pick that up some other time. But yeah, very cool. Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah, so I've got a few other things coming in the mail. Matter of fact, after Jerry's pick next week, I picked up an album that I had lost a while ago, and I'm going to use it as our next pick when it's my turn. And I think you'll like my choice. But I'm waiting for it to show up in the mail. So
okay. Can't wait to see it then.
Yeah. So
very cool.
Being that this is our anniversary show, after we play our new songs from our new bands, we're going to give away a couple coins, or at least have an opportunity for some listeners to get a couple coins. And what they are is a Beatles coin, or if you've been on Facebook, I asked, who do you prefer, the Rolling Stones or the Beatles? And the responses we got was pretty split down the middle.
I'm still, out of the two, still firmly in the Beatles camp, but I like them both.
I do too. I wouldn't want to give up either one of them.
Right.
But we're going to give you an opportunity, our listeners, or viewers actually, an opportunity to win one of those coins. It's not that hard. All you got to do is watch the show and write into us. Either message us on Facebook or email us at jfjshow@gmail.com, and I'll give you the information in just a little bit. So, why don't we jump right into our music for this week, because Jerry's band, Cronkite, they were awesome. George from the band sent me a video kind of setting up the song and telling a little bit about the band. So I want to play that for you now before we jump into the song. So here's George from Cronkite.
Jim, Frank, and Jerry. George from Cronkite here. Hey, thanks guys so much for inviting me on to say a few words about the band and the new record. So the new record is called Safe Underground. We released it about 3 weeks ago digitally. So it's on all the streaming services, Spotify and Google and Amazon, and you guys found it on Bandcamp, I think. And we also have vinyl coming out soon, so that we hope to have by the end of the year. And brief history of the band. We are out of San Francisco. We formed in 2003 when the drummer and I met. We had both played in bands in our slacker youth days. I was in San Diego. He was in North Carolina near Raleigh, both playing in bands in our respective underground scenes. And we'd both taken a break to basically focus on day jobs and family. But wanted to get back into playing music and being in a band. So we found ourselves a bass player, and then we started out as a trio. And so we did that for about 5 years. And then we had Brenton Huang join. He brought lead guitar, keyboards. He plays a mean Ebo. And then most recently, our original bassist left, and Bill Hewitt joined the band to take on bass and bring backing vocals. Bill also did a lot of the most of the mixing and engineering on the new record. We've always pretty much done everything ourselves. That's part of the fun for us. Things tend to go a little more slowly that way, but that part of it is that's something that we enjoy. And so the sound of the band, basically there's a shared love of that kind of 80s, 90s underground scene. So everything from new wave to post-punk, college rock, power pop, 90s alt. That's all part of the stuff that we grew up with. So everything from Devo to the Cars to early REM, X, Pixies, Husker Du. Those are all bands we have a shared appreciation for. I don't think we sound like any one of them in particular, but I think it definitely informs songs we write and music we play. And so if your listeners are into that sort of thing and they like what they hear from Cronkite, then please check us out. Like I said, the album is available on all streaming services. Search for Cronkite Safe Underground. We're a lot easier to find if you include the album title. And if you're in the San Francisco area, look out for we'll be playing shows. We just recently played our record release show, but we'll have more coming up. And I want to thank you guys again for having me on. I think your podcast is great. It reminds me of what it's like sitting around with my buddies talking about music. And I think it's awesome that you make a point of showcasing independent artists. So thanks for that. Cheers, guys.
See, that's how you do a bio. I love that. They told us everything we need to know. I don't do that good.
I know.
I I don't do it that good. But anyways, I digress.
And a little love back.
Absolutely.
You gotta like that.
Yeah.
Right?
So right now what I want to do
We appreciate that, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. I want to play Hands Up by Cronkite. All right, that's Cronkite with Hands Up. What'd you think, Jim?
I agree with everything he said. Reminds me of that late 80s, early 90s, post-punk. I think that's, as soon as I heard it, I said, oh, it's very post-punk, kind of power poppy, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I really like it. Great song, great vibe, takes me back.
Yep.
They're not trying to reinvent the wheel so much. They kind of taken their influences, thrown them in the blender, and come up with their own thing.
Yeah.
I dig it. And by the way, when you look them up on Bandcamp, I love bands that can like sort of take, they have their sound, but then like they take the artwork and it really fits kind of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I think you remember like when I heard their single, I commented like I would buy these guys just based on the album covers.
Sure. Yeah,
and the singles, whatever. I'd see that and go like, this totally looks interesting.
Yes.
I'm down. I'm in. Buy it.
And we're going to talk about that in a little bit when we get into Iron Maiden, because it's the old days when the album artwork pulled you in first.
Right.
Yeah, and they've got interesting artwork for sure with Cronkite. And I love how everybody is playing independently. A great bass line throughout that tune.
Yes.
And you hear the rhythm guitars, and then you have a nice little lick going on in there. Yeah, sweet stuff. And I downloaded the whole EP, every song, each one better than the next. It's the good stuff.
Yeah.
They're really, really tight unit.
Yes. Very punchy.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. Well, that's Cronkite. And again, George, thank you for the video. Initially, we were going to try to set up a Skype interview like I do with most of these bands. And like it does 99.9% of the time, it falls through for
Right.
scheduling purposes or whatever.
Sure.
But he was nice enough to send me, he actually sent me 2 videos. One had background music in it, one didn't. And all we can do, again, is give the love right back to you, because hopefully our listeners will be turned on to Cronkite. Good stuff. All right.
Good stuff indeed.
Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm going to present my other band here. Their name is Stag, and there's about 20 bands named Stag on Bandcamp. When
No
you look
way.
them up, at least. Yeah. But these guys, when you hear their music, they stand out. They are a power pop band, big guitars. Their bio says they have a catchy, with big choruses, catchy choruses. They're influenced by Cheap Trick and the Cars and Badfinger and the Buzzcocks and Artful Dodger.
Five bands right there that I really like.
Yeah. These guys knock it out of the park with the stuff they've got. The release that they came out in October 2019, the EP is called Electric Mistress. And the song we're going to play is called Pied Piper Blues. We've got Steve Mack on vocals, Ben London and John Randolph on guitars, Pete Everett on bass, and Rob Dent on drums. And they already get props for me because none of them had tough names to pronounce. And that helped me out a lot.
Unusual.
Yes. Yeah.
Unusual for the bands you pick.
Yeah. Now, these guys are from Seattle, and they're
Cool.
knocking it out up there. They've got another EP out called Midtown Sizzler, came out in August 2017. But this song is off of Electric Mistress. It's called Pied Piper Blues.
Staying up late, pulling records from my crate, paying dues, searching for clues in the grooves. Is there anyone out there searching for a place to hide? The city is ugly, but paralyzed by the few. No one here is getting out alive.
Shouldn't that be on the radio?
Absolutely.
Yeah, when I first heard it, I thought, this got to be a remake of somebody's song. This song is so perfect in so many ways.
Great, kind of a updated 1970s vibe to it.
Yeah.
I love this kind of stuff. This is the sort of brand of power pop that I really love.
Yeah.
3-piece, you said, right?
They're 4-piece, 2 guitars.
4-piece, okay.
Yeah. But again, another EP I downloaded. Their songs, if this makes it, they're so smooth. They remind me almost of the Monkees, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Their vocalist is so smooth, and their songs all just suck you in with the hooks, and that's part of what I love, riffy music.
Yeah.
And that stuff's got, riffs going all over the place between the horns and the, guitars and everything else. Good stuff.
I thought the piano was a brilliant touch.
Yeah.
I love the bass playing in it.
Mm-hmm.
Just everything about this I really, really like. Put a smile on my face.
Yeah, it's toe tap music,
Yep.
and I hope to hear more from these guys. I hope they're going to pursue, this is something they're seriously pursuing, because I'd like to hear where they go and what direction they take that brand of music, because I loved it, just loved it. So
yeah,
that is Stag from Seattle. Check them out.
Dug it.
Yeah. All right, Jim, what do you got for us tonight?
Okay, so the artist that I have tonight is a guy named Jim Basnight. And I first became aware of him back in 1993 through a guy named Jordan Oakes. Jordan put out a fanzine called Yellow Pills, which was all about power pop. And so he would feature power pop bands. And you bought this magazine sort of mail order.
Mm-hmm.
And but being an extremely ambitious guy, Jordan started licensing the music and putting out CDs. Yeah. And so Jim featured on Yellow Pills Volume 1, and that was the first time I had heard of him and had heard his music. But he was in a band called the Moberlys, which put out, which I guess is a band I've heard all about, and I've never actually heard of.
Right.
But they're sort of legendary, and so he's sort of kind of power pop royalty, in a sense. Another guy who's out of Seattle.
All right.
So the Moberlys album came out in '79. I didn't hear Jim until '93, and so now here we are in 2019. He's got a new release from Big Stir Records. This is a digital single, so you don't buy a hard copy, but you can go download it for $1.
Such is the world.
And let me tell you the brilliance of this, though, because for that $1, you get 2 songs. You get the A side and the B side.
Yeah, the whole single.
The whole single. Yeah. And I guess that's one of the beauties, right? Because they don't have to press it. There's there's only the cost of recording it, and storing it, and providing it, I guess. But anyway, so Jim's been around a long time. He's had some other bands that he's done in between, and some solo releases along the way. The Rockinghams, Jim Basnight thing. I guess they reformed the Moberlys for a while. Done that, but the guy's a touring maniac. He does something like 200 dates a year or something like that.
Wow.
So he's out there playing.
Sure.
All the time. So this new song by him is one called Never Get Lost.
Right.
And let's go ahead and take a listen.
All right.
Before, and I want more, 'cause I've seen more than a few sides of life, and my best thing that I could do. Now I'm here just to prove it to you. This time I'm gonna step high. I want a piece of the pie. I'll take the cake and I'll eat it too. And if you're there, I'll give some to you. Slipping to try. Now I know how I can trip and survive, but I also know how I can fall by thinking it's me and that's all. Taking it slow, taking them one at a time. Pretty soon you can see it's alright. So never get lost in the night. Never get lost in the night. Never get lost in the night. This time I'm gonna step high. I want a piece of the pie.
All right, that's Never Get Lost. And I don't know. It didn't grab me like the other songs did. A little slower melody,
A little slower melody.
you know. Not quite a pop song, but you know, I don't even know how to classify that. What is it classified under?
I guess you call it power pop.
Power pop. Okay.
So the B-side is actually, I guess, a little older song that he co-wrote with one of the guys from the Condors.
Yeah.
And that one's called Restless Night, which of the two, I kind of prefer the other one. But I love that punchy intro, that
Yes.
bam, 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 you know, and then and the way they incorporate that throughout the song. So
Well, I love the music. It was the vocals that didn't pull me in.
no,
No, and I think it's because you had his singing, and then you had somebody singing below him, you know, in a couple octaves above him, maybe. You know, but it didn't grab me. And again, a slower melody is kind of probably why, you know. But I like the production of the music for sure.
yeah, well done.
Yeah.
Listen to the B-side
Yeah, I certainly will.
because I think it might be a little more up your alley.
All right. So
Anyway, so let me just throw a kick in there for Big Stir Records.
Okay.
Also, you know, when we did the Red Cross thing, I talked about how great Merge was because
Yes.
you really get your money's worth.
your
So
stuff.
Big Stir Records, BigStirRecords.com. So they have a whole bunch of these digital singles, and it's 2 songs for $1, and you get the artwork, the whole ball of wax.
Nice.
It's a great deal. That's
Yeah.
where I came across this band called Librarians with Hickeys.
Right.
And if that's not the best band name, it's in the top
hilarious. Yeah.
2. And but great power pop stuff on that label. So if power pop's your thing, go check it out
All right.
because you will not be disappointed with what you find there, and great value for your money.
All right.
So
I wanted to ask you, did you get in on the Dolly Rots when they had their Kickstarter and they're re-releasing their first album on picture disc?
I did not get in on the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, of course. It's picture disc.
It's
picture disc. So, yeah, I most certainly did. So, something popped in my mind right here. I don't have it handy. I've already filed it, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. It'll pop in my mind, and I'll be able to bring everything to you. Sorry about that. It was a on-air brain fart I just had right there. So,
Oh no.
yeah. Anyways, what I want to do right now, Jim, is I want to give away a coin or two. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, we've got, like I say, the Beatles. Okay. Or we've got the Stones. Golden color collector coin. And what I'm going to do right now is I want to do something that I fondly call turd in a punch bowl. And I want to show you, and this is for our YouTube viewers, and our listeners can jump on YouTube just for this part if you want. But I'm going to show you some tour programs that I collected over the 80s, or some shows that I went to, and one of them just doesn't fit the genre of the music. And what we want to do is, first couple of listeners that write to us, either through Messenger or email us at jfjshow@gmail.com with the turd in the punch bowl, we'll make sure we get you this collector coin as a thank you for listening to the JFJ Conspiracy Podcast on our 1-year anniversary. So are you ready?
Yeah, let's see what you got, man.
All right, let's start off here. I'll let you call them out as they float by.
What do we got? Oh, The Who.
The Who, 1980. Yes.
There it is.
That's one. All right, here. Second one, also from 1980, I believe.
Van Halen.
Women and Children First.
Yes, Women and Children First.
If I recall correctly, this particular show at the Forum was Michael Anthony's birthday. If it wasn't, they smashed.
That sounds correct.
Smashed a cake in his face.
Poor guy.
Jump ahead to 84, and we have Kiss.
Yes.
The Lick It Up tour.
With Mr. Vinnie Vincent.
Vinnie Vincent and Eric Carr. Yes. And then back to 1982.
Oh, Ozzy, Diary of a Madman.
Diary of a Madman. And finally, we have
Barbara Mandrell.
Okay. So you called all 5 of those. You let the fans decide which the turd in the punch bowl might be. And we'll give away some coins. So
It could be any one of those, depending on your perspective.
Particular
at any one time.
Yeah. Well, I actually, one of those, which I think is the stinker, was at the LA County Fair. It was a free concert, and the person sitting next to me actually left the program behind. So that's how
Unimpressed with the show, they left the program.
Yes, yeah. So, anyways. When we were in high school, I think you brought to my attention the first Iron Maiden album. Or
no, vice versa.
No, it's the other way around. You brought to my attention Def Leppard then. That's what it was. And because I told you about Iron Maiden. Yes. And you said, oh, well, you think they're
Tigers
good.
of Pantang.
Tigers of yes. I got into a lot of those bands. And these were bands that I never heard, but their album artwork was so awesome, you had to give it a try.
Yeah.
You know? And we were going back to Cronkite earlier. I would buy their album just from their artwork because it's different and it intrigues you. Now, you got into Iron Maiden's first album, There's Eddie, you know, and decomposing on the album. And that was Derek Riggs who painted, I guess, their stuff. But anyways, that brings us to your pick. Iron Maiden. Let's talk about it.
Iron Maiden, yeah. So, Number of the Beast, right?
Yes.
Released 1982, 22nd of March. It was their third studio album. They had just ousted their original lead singer, Paul Di'Anno, and found Bruce Dickinson, who, I just drew a blank on what.
Samson.
Samson, yes.
Yes.
And did you like Samson?
No.
Yeah, I remember hearing it and just thinking like, whatever.
I like Samson about as much as I like Bruce Dickinson's solo work. It just doesn't do it for me.
I like some of his solo work, actually. But there we go. So you turned me on to Iron Maiden. Right. You brought over that first Iron Maiden album.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was home or not, because my mom would inevitably say like, "Oh, Frank came by and dropped this off." He listened to a lot of times. But I remember you handing me that and just saying, "You got to hear this. You really got to hear this." And blown away. Became an instant fan of the band. I was like, "This is like next level. This is like nothing I had heard before." It was like just a little harder, a little faster, punchier. the visuals really went along with the music.
Right. Fit. It absolutely fit. Yeah.
I think I remember telling somebody like, these guys are the future of heavy metal right here. Just loved it. And so I feel, Number of the Beast, I think we agree. So that was it was their first number one in the UK.
Yes.
Went to number 40 in the US. I'm surprised it went that high.
Yeah.
But they were really getting airplay at this point. MTV was playing the videos. And man, I would say for me, I felt like the songwriting had just matured all along.
Right.
By the time they hit this album, I think they had kind of hit their stride a little bit.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
I remember reading that Steve Harris had wanted to change the style of his writing and take a different direction with the music, and that was one of the reasons why they had to get rid of Paul. Is just vocally he didn't
have the chops to do it.
No, and it's almost like you can tell it's the same band, but it's so different from those first two albums.
Yeah.
It
is.
And I guess Bruce wrote a lot of the lyrics on that album, but because he was still under contract with Samson, he wasn't allowed to be listed with any songwriting credits.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah. So he basically helped them write a bunch of those songs, brought his own stuff to it, but could not receive any writing credits because of the contract with Samson. So just happened to read that today. I thought that was kind of interesting. But excellent.
Iron Maiden. I saw Iron Maiden documentary where they talked to Paul Di'Anno, and he said when he heard Number of the Beast, he was like, "Oh, that is Iron Maiden's vocalist."
Right.
Basically saying like, "Yeah, this guy's."
They got it. Yep.
This guy's it. They,
I think everybody thought that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Like I said, it just changed the whole dynamic of the band.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right. Well, you want to give side one a listen real quick?
Let's do it.
Let's check it out. A little tidbit of side one of Number of the Beast. That's a quick glimpse of side one of Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast. Invaders, Children of the Damned, The Prisoner in 22 Acacia Avenue. I think 22 Acacia Avenue could have fit on either one of the first two albums,
Yeah, so as I was listening again to that, I thought, like, what's with these guys and their fascination with prostitution? Because they'd already released Charlotte the Harlot, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, it's kind of weird and extremely, something I didn't really think about at the time.
It was violent.
That it came out. Yeah, it's very violent, misogynistic.
Yes.
And kind of made me cringe a little bit.
It's not an easy listen when you listen to the lyrics now, because you got to figure they're probably in their early 20s at the time, and
sure,
it was a different era. It definitely wasn't this Me Too movement going on, because that particular song is 22 Acacia Avenue is very violent towards a hooker, so not one you'll revisit very often, that's for sure. And yet it's funny, Number of the Beast, which is, exactly what you think it is. I'll listen to that all day long. I have no problem with that, but the other stuff, and some of it is just, like you say, a little cringeworthy.
Yeah, it was a little much listening to it now. But consistent. I mean, yes. He's telling a story, and
right.
And his but at the same time, he expresses an affection for this woman, which is just kind of, I don't know, weird.
A little twisted, just a little twisted.
8 songs on the album, and I don't think I would add or take one away.
Yeah, 39 minutes. It comes in at not a real long album, but as opposed to their newer stuff, which is an hour and a half long, jamming just to jam. I think they wanted to be the heavy metal Grateful Dead or something, but I preferred these formats better. So,
yeah, like I said, I really loved them when they were like sticking in the 3 to 5 minute kind of thing. Maybe 6-7 minutes there, but when you get into 12 minutes and on, it's
yeah. Well, let's give us.
I mean, I have trouble sitting through this podcast for an hour, right? I mean, I gotta focus. That's
you're already
tough.
Fidgeting. Yeah.
Already fidgeting. So,
all right, let's give side 2 a listen to real quick. that is side 2 of Number of the Beast. You have a favorite on that album?
Man, it's a little tough to pick. Run to the Hills, great. Gangland, great. Invaders, The Prisoner. It would be out of those 4. So I guess if I was going to have to pick one, probably Run to the Hills.
See, for me, that is overplayed.
Of course it's overplayed.
Yeah.
And for me, it's easy to see why they picked the 2 singles they did, which was Run to the Hills, Number of the Beast. I mean, those were the most commercial of the songs, I think, that were on the record.
I like The Prisoner. I think Number of the Beast is probably my favorite on that album. But I love the galloping bass line on Run to the Hills. I can't get that stupid video out of my mind, though, of the cartoony black and white Indians running up and down the plain. That's what I can't
forever
say.
Etched in your brain, unfortunately.
Thank you, MTV, yeah. Hallowed Be Thy Name, great song.
Great song.
And again, and that was I think that was a 6-minute song or something. That was the longest one they had, somewhere around there. But
708.
708. So that was the beginning of their, let's draw this out a little bit, But would you say this is their best album?
Ooh, I don't know. I like Peace of Mind, and I like the earlier stuff too.
Right.
I don't know that I'd say it was their best. Okay. I think maybe. I think you could throw any of those in the mix and kind of draw straws.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's
just depending on the day. I like the first 2 albums an awful lot. This one, Peace of Mind, is good. Like I said, the albums after a while, I just couldn't get into them anymore. And you will find that Iron Maiden fans are more uptight and ruder than Kiss fans. If you go online,
that's hard to imagine.
Oh, they will threaten you with bodily harm.
Kiss fans are terrible.
They are the worst. Well, Kiss fans are a bunch of 50-year-old men who never grew up. Okay, and Paul and Gene, they bow at their altar. Iron Maiden fans are metalheads that just think they can do no wrong also, but I look online and I see some of these fans, they get into some brutal arguments and then they start talking about their mothers and it just goes on and on and on. It's not that serious, guys,
Hell, hey, look, in the end of the day, rock and roll is supposed to be fun.
It's
right?
supposed to be, yeah. But
and it should be open for debate.
You would think so, right? Without bringing your mother into it, yeah. But I love this album. Peace of Mind's a good album. I don't think it's as good as this one, but they were definitely maturing in their songwriting as each album went. They were a band that, one of the first bands that I listened to that didn't necessarily play a lot of chords. They were playing riffs and fast and continuous. It was just relentless watching them play.
Yeah, I mean, as a bass player, it's you can't get much better than listening to Steve Harris, right? Harris. I mean,
yeah, he's awesome.
I remember hearing him and just thinking, like, "Holy smokes, look at this guy go!"
Yeah, and he does. I don't think he uses a pick. He's a finger player.
Finger guy, yeah.
Yeah, and
that guy's got a right hand technique that's just
and he has not wavered over the years. I mean, that's one thing I will say about whether you like the longer songs or not. His playing has gotten better over the years. Just it's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Least favorite song?
Probably Children of the Damned.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, only because it doesn't fit in the style.
It's a little too slow. I mean, it picks up at the end, right? But
it just doesn't fit in the style of the rest of the album to me. And then again, when you listen to the lyrics of 22 Acacia Avenue, I love the music to that.
Yeah.
But again, I was like you. I had the headphones on, and I was listening to it, and I was just sitting there. My shoulders were going up as I was listening. Like, I don't recall it being. As a matter of fact, when I was putting the music together, I had to find a spot that I could actually play. you know, for
Right.
30 seconds.
Right.
Because it's pretty brutal, you know.
It's brutal.
So, what I want to do is
Fun revisiting, though. I mean,
yes,
not just that song, but overall, it's been a while since I've listened to it as a whole, as opposed to listening to a song here, listening to a song there,
Yeah.
blah blah blah.
Well, what I always do is when I mow my lawns, I throw my iPod on. I listen to it. It takes me a whole album to do the front and the backyard.
Right.
So, some of those I've listened to more recently than others, and our next pick, Leonard Skinner, Street Survivor. I don't own that. I'm gonna have to hunt that down because I don't have much of the Southern fried rock.
Right.
But I know there's some good tunes on there, but I couldn't tell you. You know, Jerry made a good pick. So
Yeah, I mean, seems like there were several singles off that.
probably, you know.
Were just great tunes.
Yeah. With that being said, Jerry, I know you're going to be listening and watching, so get back to us so we can get on with our next show.
Absolutely.
And hope everything at home. I think he's getting his flooring done and some construction business going on, so hopefully that's all taken care of. Get you back over here. So, if there's nothing else, Jim.
I guess the shop is closed.
Oh, shop is closed. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, man. Take care.
All right, now.
Woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil sends the beast with wrath, because he knows the time is short. Let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is a human number. Its number is 666.